Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Jerusalem. Happy to have you here with me as we continue our learning, our weekly learning on the events of the Jewish calendar in that week, and specifically the Torah reading. So it's interesting, this week we've just finished a period, of course, of the High Holy Days, and we've returned to ourselves. We've had a period of renewal and then of celebration with the holiday of Sukkot that we spoke about last week. And then remarkably, what we're seeing now is the real renewal, and we're beginning the reading of the Torah, of the 5 books of Moses, right from the beginning, from the book of Genesis. In fact, the first Torah portion of the year is called Bereshit, which means, in essence, in the beginning, and its translation, Genesis. So let's see what we have there, because in essence we're starting with the creation of the world by God in 6 days. And on the 6th day it says something really interesting, and I think an important message for us today. It says in chapter 1 of the Torah, at sentence 27, verse 27, it says, and I'll read in Hebrew first, Vayivra Elokim et ha'adam b'tzalmo b'tselem Elohim. Tselem Elokim. What does that mean? So God created man in His image. In the image of God, He created him. That's a fascinating statement. Let's think about that. God is one, and yet every person created from the beginning, Adam, and Eve, later to come, later in this Torah portion, everyone, all of us, are created in the image of God. Now that's an important message about the way we treat each other, about how we're quick to judge others. And when we judge others quickly, are we not in fact judging something or someone that has a little bit of God in them? It's worth taking on board. Now, God, as we know, created the world in 6 days. And on the 7th day, as He approaches the 7th day, we see something fascinating. We see something crucial, something which is the backbone of Judaism across the centuries. And it began here in the beginning of the Torah, in the first portion. What does it say? Vayechulu hashamayim va'aretz v'chol tzeva'am. I'm reading here from chapter 2, the first verse. And thus the heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. By the 7th day, God completed His work, which He had done, and He abstained on the 7th day from all the work which He had done. Vayavarech, and He blessed. Et Yom Hashvi'i, He blessed the 7th day. Vaykadesh oto, He made it holy, because on that day He abstained from all the work. My friends, we work so hard 6 days a week. We do so much in those 6 days, like God did. We create and we change and we innovate. We bring so much to the world, but on the 7th day, we dedicate it to ourselves and our families and our communities. We step back, we stop creating. We just be. We learn to be. And we think spiritually. And we spend those precious moments being with ourselves and our families and those that we love, and connecting through learning and through our culture, again, to God. They say about the Jewish people, more than the Jewish people have kept the Sabbath has kept or guarded the Jewish people. Because when you put a day aside every week for yourselves and for that internal side, it keeps you, it guards you. Now, interestingly, talking of guarding and keeping, we see here that once God creates man and woman, actually, on that 6th day, what does He say? As follows. Hashem, God, took the man and placed him in the Garden of Eden. Interesting. What to do there? It says in Hebrew, Le'avda ul-shamra. I'm reading here from chapter 2 of Genesis, line 15, verse 15. What are we told to do? Be in that garden, be in this world, but to work it and to guard it. This is our world. We've been given it. We're created in the image of God. We're to work this world. We're to be involved in this world fully, but look after it. Look after this world. And that doesn't just mean physically, and of course, we know today, in the modern day, that looking after the environment, looking after the world around us is absolutely crucial. But part of looking after this world is bringing goodness to this world and doing good deeds, bringing spirituality, looking after each other, looking after the poor and the stranger and the weak and the suffering among us. That's how you look after the world. And we were placed there to do so. And finally, perhaps crucially, we learn from our mistakes. And the first mistake, perhaps, of the Torah, and certainly the first murder we see in the Bible, the first really horrid murder, is between brothers. And this unfortunately becomes a theme in the book of Genesis, where we see families created and family structures disturbed, and competition and jealousy and the like. And we see and we learn a lesson from this chapter 4 in Genesis, verses 3 and 4, where we see Cain and Abel, the first brothers in the Bible, competing, jealousy, and in the end, Cain kills Abel. But what do we learn about what Cain did here? It says in verse 3, after a period of time, Cain brought an offering to God of the fruit of the ground. He brought the fruit of the ground. That's what he worked in the fields. But then it says about Abel, he also brought of the firstlings, the firstborn of his flock, and from the choicest, from the very best. What do we learn? What do our commentators on the Bible say about this? The description of what Cain brought is very simple. He brought offering to God of the fruit of the ground. But what did Abel bring? The firstlings, the very choicest. Cain's offering was rejected, Abel's was accepted, and thus we were brought to tension, violence, murder. Things that we see today as well, of course. What can we learn from Cain's behavior here? From Cain's action or inaction? When we're brought into this world in the image of God, which we all were, when we're asked to work so hard and to bring so much to the world 6 days a week, and then to guard that Shabbat, that Sabbath, which is so important to maintaining community and family and our personal lives, when we're asked to guard this world and work this world, we can learn from Cain that we do it wholeheartedly, that we bring our very best that we can to our families and to the work wherever we're employed, whatever business we're involved in, whatever good deeds we're involved in, whatever good actions we're doing, we bring the very best of ourselves. We don't make half efforts. We bring the choicest of what we have at our resources, and we make the very best of what we have. And that's how we look after this world, and that's how we make impact. That's my message to you for this week. That's our first Torah portion, the creation of the world, and a mission that humanity was given right from those very first passages in the Bible. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, and we'll learn together again next week. All the very best. Shalom and goodbye from Jerusalem.